Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price today as we have a new weekly candle and traditional markets have opened. Bitcoin has failed to get above 35,000 US dollars, but more importantly, the $34,788 level where we now have this new weekly candle. And this is the first weekly candle that has opened fully below the $34,788 level. This is a major puzzle piece because if we're going to see a move, it's going to be soon. So I want to talk about what I'm watching for Bitcoin, if we're going to come down and retest this 50-week moving average at $32,000, or if there is potential further downside on the table as we head into the latter part of this week. And then we'll take a look at what's happening to Ethereum, of course, because now that Bitcoin is showing weakness below 35,000, just like I talked about yesterday, if we weren't going to get above 34,788, I said that the range that we're playing is 35,000 all the way down to this $26,000 range. And I said Ethereum is also going to potentially see downside below this 200-day moving average if Bitcoin starts to push down. And now we are coming down to test 1980. If this level breaks, because the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is showing some weakness as there's fear in the market, that means that Ethereum could potentially break back below 1760, and that takes us to this 1440 area where we have the previous all-time high. And if we get any price action between 1760 and 1440, in my opinion, those are going to be prime long entries for Ethereum, especially with Ethereum 2.0 coming out. And on August 4th, we're going to see the London hard fork, or that's what it's scheduled to be on. Of course, that's all going to be dependent upon how things progress with the mining. But for now, we want to monitor what's happening in Bitcoin. It controls the majority of the market. So let's talk about what's happening. And then we'll talk about the DXY because we are pushing up right now, but we're still inside this range. The S&P 500, new all-time highs today, still continuing its strength. Why is the cryptocurrency market showing weakness? That's what we'll discuss today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. So we're looking at Bitcoin. This is the first weekly candle now, fully below 34,788. We tried our best. The bulls tried their best to get above 34,788 today. You can see we had this candle high at 34,680, but the bears have clearly wanted to defend this $34,788 level because price action since coming close to this area has only seen downside. We look at the daily chart, the 50-day moving average is coming close now to this $34,788 level. The bears have also defended this 50-day moving average throughout this whole consolidation. We've never seen a test of it, so we're really close to this area. We're already seeing signs that the bears are controlling the micro time frames because we couldn't get to 34,788. Does that mean we're going to see the downside play out? Well, for those that have been tuning into the Snipers channel, you know if there's going to be downside, we know there's a lot of volume below the $30,000 level. So we can take this line here and draw the $30,000 level on the chart, knowing that every time Bitcoin has come below 30,000 on the 6-hour chart, we've seen immense amount of volume come in, and it's only when we get below 30,000. So you can see on the 6-hour chart, we got below 30,000 here on the 22nd of June. Look how much buyers came in, a lot more than any of the sellers. And then when we first came down to test 30,000, look how much buyers came in. So we know there's volume here below 30,000. So if we see downside, there needs to be enough sell pressure to fill the order books to bring us below 30,000, where we know there's a lot of buy pressure. And so this $28,000 level right now is something I'm watching because inside of this consolidation, we always want to first look at the current market schematics and market structure. And so the first area where we could assume some support is going to be 28,000. However, because 30,000 is the level that we really know there's a lot of volume, if we see the downside scenario play out, I still stick to my opinion that it's going to have to be very fast below 30,000. And so if we come down to test 28,000, for example, I believe that the only way we'll see further price action below the $28,000 level is if it's going to be a wick. And so have those orders below 26,000 down all the way to 20,000 just in case. But regardless of what happens on the downside, I definitely believe we're going to start to see Bitcoin curve back up if we get any price action below 26,000. I think that would be the short-term bottom, at least for now. Could it potentially even be the bottom until we see six figures into 2022? Who knows, right? But we have to focus on what's happening on the micro right now. And the fact of the matter is we're below 35,000. And I told you guys that's always going to be a concern for me. It's always going to be dangerous when we're below 35,000. We tried our best to get to 34,788. Unfortunately, we failed. And that has caused the first weekly candle ever now below 34,788 throughout this whole consolidation. That means that we're either going to see this move soon. If it wants to go down, it needs to happen soon. If we get back above 34,788, we'll start talking about more of the upside scenarios, because now we have this daily 50-day right here at 34,788. We get above that, we can start talking about a reversal in trend. But until then, we can't look at any upside because we're below the 50-day moving average. And as an umpire, that means things are bearish still, right? So we look at what's happening to Ethereum. Of course, we talked about Ethereum being affected by Bitcoin if we start to see the sell pressure. Now we're coming down to this 200-day moving average. The more you knock on a door, the more likely it is to break. We already tested this twice. This is the third test. If this level breaks, we go into the 3-day chart. Notice how we have this 100-period moving average showing kind of confluence here with this market structural support where we could have a lower low form. I'm really looking at this range for Ethereum. If we see any downside below 1760, I think that all the way down to that 1440 area is going to be prime opportunities to get positions into Ethereum, because the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, if you look at how that would play out, could also see lower levels and still be in a bullish pattern. So we want to monitor Ethereum. I think it will be the stronger asset regardless throughout 2022 and into the end of this year. And for the upside, of course, we stay above 1980, then we're still on our way to 3,000. And that's the positive thing about Ethereum. The only way we're going to see continued upside, though, is if Bitcoin can move above 35,000, in my opinion. So if that doesn't happen, it's going to be very tough for Ethereum to get back above this 50-day moving average, sitting at that $2,300 level. That's what we're watching. Of course, Bitcoin's going to control the majority of these markets. Other altcoins, total cryptocurrency market cap, still doing fine. Nothing to go home and tell grandma about. No worries here. Others dominance still having a cup of coffee above 12.2%. That's fine. Bitcoin dominance also just kind of hanging out at this weekly and monthly open. So the traditional markets, the DXY, doing what we want, not showing any crazy price action, allowing the S&P 500 to continue to price discovery. Why are traditional markets doing so well and the cryptocurrency market isn't? Of course, there's a lot of FUD. We can talk about China, and there's all the fundamentals we can go into. But I like to look at commodities, and so far, we haven't gotten full confirmation that we're going to be seeing a reversal here with U.S. oil, which also affect gold and silver. But we'll watch U.S. oil for now because we're at this weekly open. It's a pretty easy schematic here. If we stay below this weekly open, that could assume that the DXY also wants to move to the upside at some point, because when the DXY comes up, we'll typically see U.S. oil price come down. We'll see a lot of other assets come down. So I want to monitor the U.S. oil price because this could be a leading indicator. If we see this break back down below the monthly open here at 73.5, then that could assume that we're going to see even a retest of this 50-day moving average back at 70, which that downside here could be bad for the cryptocurrency market, which is also an asset that is affected by the DXY, just like U.S. oil, right? So we want to monitor this. And with that, thank you all for tuning into our channel today. I appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuned in here. I want to give away one of my favorite books on investing and wrap up this video. We talked about the best case scenario yesterday. Unfortunately, Bitcoin couldn't get above 35,000. We knew that 34,788 was the level. We didn't see one candle get there. So I'm glad you guys have followed our instructions. Ben says, Naeem, you have sniped the key to my heart. Thank you for all the great content. Send me a message on Instagram, Mr. Lewin. You want a book. And with that, I couldn't do this without you snipers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, snipers